Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. So the long-awaited white paper document that we've all been waiting for is finally here. This document was presented to the Parliament by the Secretary of the States of Home Department on the command of His Majesty. So in this document, the government has mapped out all their plans and strategies on how they would take back immigration, on how they take back their border, on how they will take proper control of the immigration system. And there is nothing like good news in this document to the migrants in the country and those who are planning to relocate to the UK. So if you stay with me on this video, you will hear all the items on this document and how it affects you if you're in the UK or if you're trying to move into the UK. My name is Ukaria, and on this channel we talk about everything UK. We talk about how to relocate to the UK. We talk about UK immigration system. We talk about life in the UK. We talk about literally everything that has to do with living in the UK. So if this channel is actually where you want to be to hear news about the United Kingdom, please stay tuned, watch my videos, subscribe, share and like, and do comment as well. So that at least YouTube will be able to, forward my videos to other people who would really need the content. This white paper was actually published officially on the 12th of May 2025, and it outlines all the plans, the methods, and the strategies the government has put in place to enable them reduce net migration. According to Kestama, he says it is their method of taking back control of their border. So I will be listing out all the key points in this white paper that affect all the migrants in the country and those planning to relocate to the UK. But before I do that, I want us to reflect a little bit on how this issue as regarding to net migration has been a really serious issue in the UK. So the reason for this white paper has been attributed to a lot of factors that caused so much increase in net migration according to the country. According to them, net migration is at its increase as a result of non-nationals coming into the country to work, to study, and whilst they are doing that, these non-nationals brought their dependents as well, who they believe has filled all the lower skilled labor in the country. The government also talked about humanitarian reasons as regards to Ukraine and Hong Kong. And they also talked about illegal migration of people who came in through boats. And the government also talked about people who have overstayed, people who came in through visiting visa and refused to leave the country. So the totality of all this factored into the reason why the government has believed that net migration is really high. Well, according to statistics and what we see on news and on internet, net migration is high as regards to the previous years. So this white paper is a practical means for the government to curtail net migration in the country, to reduce and control the border as regards to who comes into the country, who is leaving, how long people are to stay in the country, and most importantly, how people get their citizenship in the country. So today, we will be looking at the most important key factors in this white paper document that affects a lot of migrants as it stands now. We're going to be looking at the skilled worker visa. We're going to be looking at care worker visa, student visa, graduate visa, English language requirement, residency and citizenship application. We'll look at deportation, and we will be looking at employer sponsorship charges. Number one, the skilled worker visa. So this is a type of visa that allows non-UK citizens to come into UK and work. And it is a 5 years route that leads to indefinite leave to remain in the UK and then finally to citizenship. So this skilled worker visa allows people to earn salary that ranges from 23,000 to 25,000 pounds per year as of previous year. So the government as of last year actually increased this salary threshold. So people who are to come in through the skilled worker visa are no longer allowed to have a salary rate of 23 to 25,000 pounds per year. So the government increased it to 38,700 as of last year. And to be honest with you, this method actually reduced a lot of people coming into the country. The government said, yes, we acknowledge that this method actually worked. It reduced net migration, but we want to go further into it. So now the government is saying that 38,700 per year will further be increased. The idea for doing this actually is for employers to stop employing people from overseas stop bringing people from outside of the UK. They want employers and companies to focus on training skills of local people in the country. As it stands now, if you get a job and you want to move to the UK, your salary will be above 38,700, which will be tough for the person coming into the country and the company who is probably trying to employ you into the country. Before on this visa, lower skills were actually needed in the country. So you see people like butchers, farmers, cleaners, in hospitality are all needed in the country. So the government is saying that this has shifted higher skill migration to a lower skill migration, and they want to put a stop to that. So as regards to lower skill migration, the government has now scrapped shortage occupation list and replaced it with something called a temporary shortage list. So in summary of what's happening around skilled worker visa right now, the government has stated that it's only high skilled labor that will come through this route. Second of all, they are going to further increase the salary threshold, which is 38,700 per year. So the government would increase it further. We don't know how much yet. No more shortage occupation list. Let's dive in a little bit into this temporal shortage list. Let's read through number 72 of the items on the white paper document. For occupations with a skill requirement of RQF 3 to 5, which is below the degree level, where there have been long-term shortages, we will only permit use of the points-based immigration system on a time-limited basis, where the MAC has advised it is justified, where there is a workforce strategy in place, and where employers seeking to recruit from abroad are committed to playing their part in increasing recruitment from the domestic workforce. So, what this means is that the government has stated that if there are jobs that are actually in shortage in the country, like jobs that have been established to be in absolute need within the country, and if these jobs are of RQF level 3 to 5, which is below the degree level, that they will only use point-based system on a limited time. So you know how Canada uses point-based system for their permanent residency. So UK government, for example, could probably decide that in a range of 1 to 100, those in this category, if they have a point base up to maybe 400, they could apply. And it's going to be on a limited time basis, meaning that they could bring it out and say, okay, from January to probably June, people should apply for this job within this time frame. And they also noted and so stated that it will be where Mark has actually advised that it is justified. So Mark is actually the Migration Advisory Committee. These are the committee or group of people that actually advises the government as regards to migration issues. They advise the government as regards to every issues regarding migration or migrants in the country. Skilled worker visas, how long they are to stay, visiting visa, how long, every single decision taken as regards to migration in the country has been MAC has been the committee that advises the government. So this is what is going to be happening when it comes to this temporal shortage list. So some jobs will be there and some jobs won't be there. RQF simply means Regulated Qualification Framework, and this framework is used in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland to compare or classify qualifications based on levels, probably like difficulties and sizes. So, in the past, the standard acceptable RQF level as regards to migration or skilled worker in the country was actually RQF level 6. Before this care worker visa started, the government reduced the qualification requirement from RQF level 6 to level 3. So now we have a range of from level 3 to 5. As at then, the government was proposing that let the RQF not deter people who they need to come into the country to help and work. So as it stands now, the government has decided to go back to that RQF level 6 requirement. They are putting it back as the standard for skilled worker visa migration. So, for any job which is below RQF level 6 to gain access into the immigration system, they must be listed on the temporal shortage list. And employers of these jobs must have been playing their parts as regards to recruitment of domestic workforce. So these are all being put in place as regards to controlling net migration to make sure that net migration is reduced. So employers right now would have only the options to employ only their domestic workforce. But if they must employ from abroad, those occupations must be on the temporary shortage list. If they are below RKF level 6, the company must have demonstrated high need for that particular occupation and demonstrated that they've been playing their part as regards to recruiting local people within the country. Let's move to care visas, the social care visas. The government is putting this visa category to a stop. We will therefore end overseas recruitment for social care visas. In line with our wider reform to skills threshold, we will close social care visas to new applications from abroad for a transition period until 2028. We will permit visa extensions and in-country switching for those already in the country with working rights, but this will be kept under review. The government has actually ended care visas. No more health and care visa in the country. They are putting it on hold for an extension period till 2028, but they said they'll still keep reviewing it. The only thing that people in this visa category are allowed to do at the moment is they can switch their visa. So if you're currently working in a company that sponsored you already and you got another job, probably a better one, or maybe for career progression, you got another job and that job needed you to change visa sponsorship to be able to work full time for that company, you are allowed to switch your visa. So you're allowed to get a new visa for a new company to be able to work for the new company. And also you are allowed to extend your visa. So if probably the company you're working for has given you a 3 years visa, you are allowed to extend your visa, probably to get another 2 years, you're allowed to extend your visa. So at the moment, this is all we know. This is all the government has said as regards to people in the health and care visa. These are the things they can do at the moment. Other than that, the care worker visa has been scrapped. It's no longer going to be a thing when it comes to overseas recruitment. Another point on the white paper that is of importance is English language. The government has increased English language requirements for skilled worker visa. So for those who are coming into the country on skilled worker visa, they will demonstrate a high level of English proficiency and including their dependents. In the past, for dependents or skilled workers, there was no English language requirement. But now the government has added English language as one of the major requirements that you have to meet before you can move into the country on a skilled worker visa. We will increase language requirements for skilled workers and workers where a language requirement already applies from B1 to B2. We will introduce a new English language requirement for all adult dependents of workers and students at level A1 to align to spousal and partner routes, and we'll work towards increasing this requirement over time. We want individuals to improve their English language skills over time as they continue to stay in the UK. We will introduce requirements to demonstrate progressions to level A2 for any visa extension and B2 for settlement. We will increase our existing requirements for settlement across the majority of immigration routes from B1 to B2. So, for skilled workers right now, they will be able to prove their English language proficiency to a level of B2. So you have to pass your English test and get B2 before you're qualified on the skilled worker visa route. And your dependents, if your dependents are going to come, dependents of skilled workers and dependents of students will now have to show proficiency in English with level A1. And if they need to extend their visa, they need to show that they are improving in their English language while they were staying in the UK. So that A1, they are going to write another exam to get to level A2. And when it comes to settlements for any visa category, the government has put in place that you will have to get past your English language proficiency from B1 to B2. So all these are measures to tighten up the border, to tighten up migration. Another key point is the employer sponsorship and charges. So there's something called immigration salary list, which gives companies discounts as regards to salary thresholds. The government has said they will abolish that. The government also stated that they will ask MAC, which is the Migration Advisory Committee, to do a thorough review as regards to salary threshold. Their aim of doing this is to make overseas recruitment difficult and expensive so that companies will see that overseas recruitment is not a cheap alternative as regards to recruiting domestic workforce in the country. In the past, companies that employ overseas workers were given a discount when it comes to salary threshold. They were given a discount that enabled them to recruit overseas workers to come and fill in positions that were actually needed. This enabled companies to recruit a lot of people who came in to fill in all these shortage positions in the country. The government has decided to say that probably has made for companies to employ a lot of workers into the country. So they abolished this discount. There will be no discounts. The government wants to increase that charges, make it expensive so that companies will, when they calculate what it will take to employ one overseas worker, they will decide to employ maybe 3 or 4 local workers in the country. This white document contains a lot of reforms as regards to migration. And stating all of them, deliberating on all of them on this video definitely will make this video as long as I didn't plan it to be. So if you have watched till this point, please watch the next video. And on that next video, we'll be talking about indefinite leave to remain and settlement, which the government had decided to increase from 5 years to 10 years. In that video, I will be telling us or sharing with us what the government has decided, if it's going to affect people who are already in the country or those who are trying to move into the country. So watch the part 2 of this video. And if you have watched till the end, I hope you were able to get some point as regards to the government's plan to cut down migration in the country. But at the end of the day, the government has said that these points, these items on the white paper will still be further reviewed. So in time to come, we will hear more and more explanation on each of the items on this white paper. The only question I have that I need to ask, I put it out for anybody who's there, is I do not understand how the government has actually invited people to come into the country to work for them, to help them boost their economy, to fill in many shortage areas within healthcare sectors and other aspects. We have lots of nurses that are from abroad. We have lots of medical doctors who moved in. We have lots of care workers, carers who are taking care of the elderly and the vulnerable ones. I still do not understand how or why this became a problem. Because for one moment, if you think or envisage that if anything happens and all these migrants who have filled all these positions decide to wake up one morning and leave the UK, what would be of United Kingdom? But I don't think the people who deliberate on this matter, the people who put down all the items on this white paper, looked back to remember when the country really needed people. When after COVID, when after the Second World War, the country really needed people. And people came into the country to work hard, to do their best to boost the economy of the country. And it seems like probably they've done something wrong. I just hope that the government will look back at the benefits of migrants in the country and actually focus on illegal migration, people who have committed crimes in the country, focus on them more than making up decisions that will really affect people who left their family, left their country, and come into the United Kingdom to do their best, to work so hard, to help boost the economy, to make life better for the vulnerable ones. Please don't forget to comment. If you have any questions that you need me to research on, put it down in the comment section. And don't forget to like, and don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe so that YouTube will push my video to other people who want to know things that are happening in the UK. Thank you so much if you've watched till now, and see you on my next video.